Straight out the boot room to Wembley, our second home. We come to conquer, no, we never walk alone. We dominate, the cream of the crop, drawing all our strength from the roar of the cock. It's all for one and one for all. Pass a move, we're talking total football. Here we go again, Roy's red machine. Liverpool, the greatest team the world has ever seen. Pass a move, it's the Liverpool crew. Pass a move, it's the Liverpool crew. Pass a move, 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 it's the Liverpool crew.
Hello and welcome back to the Liverpool Groove. It happened again, didn't it? We fucking record something saying one thing, and then 20 fucking minutes later, Liverpool go and announce the news that Arne Slot is the fucking new head coach on a 3-year deal starting June the 1st. So here we are again. What's happening?
What's happening?
So we didn't expect the announcement to come just after we finished recording, obviously, but we couldn't wait and leave it any longer. We thought we'd just get back on and give you a little treat with a double episode, I suppose. So yeah, the news that was the worst kept secret in all of football, probably at this point, is confirmed. Arne Slot, pending a work permit, will start work on June 1st as the new head coach. Very, very clear with that, head coach, not manager, of Liverpool Football Club.
That's just made me nervous because it instantly made me think of Championship Manager when you try and buy a player and they always fail the work permit. Gotta wait till January. Yeah, do you know what? We knew it was happening. There was a few little bits of rocky moments, I think. I don't know what it was with, but I think it was backroom staff getting people in with him and that. But yeah, he's been given the head coach role. You know, I hope he's still calling the manager. He is our manager, manages the team, but he's not in charge of the operations from what goes on the training pitch. And I think the development team, all the transfer committee and all that will be handed to him. I think he'd be given help on that. He'd be dictated to who we're getting and all that stuff. But that's how he worked at Feyenoord. He's quite happy working in that system where it's analysis-based signings and stuff like that. Players that come in to fit a system based on data, and he's used to working on a shorter budget, if you want, and working within the rules. So hopefully, you know, there's no point bringing in a manager who needs a load of money and needs a load of players to feel like he's a good manager. He can coach, he can manage, he can get the best out of young players, and we've got loads of them. So fingers crossed, it's the start of a new dawn, and you know, it doesn't feel real. It's still very raw that Klopp left, and we're not going to see him on the touchlines next season. But you know, you do have to move on. We have to go forward. I've just been on Stanley Park then, and fucking seen Anfield and cried. Sam was laughing her fucking head off at me walking the dog. I don't know. I've just walked around Anfield then, while it was quiet, it was a bit ghostly to reminisce of, you know, a second last dance if you want. But yeah, a new era's coming, and there's enough there with a few tweaks and a few fresh faces to go and challenge.
Yeah. No, it's just been a bit of a whirlwind, hasn't it? Like, as I say, I don't think anybody expected them to do the announcement so soon, but I think it just makes sense. As I say, it was the worst kept secret in football. The news was practically, you know, Arne Slot announced it, Jurgen Klopp announced it. It's like, as I said earlier, the only thing that was left was for Liverpool to actually announce it. Fabrizio Romano announced it about 3 months ago, the fucking daft Italian bastard. So, I don't even know if he's Italian, to be honest. He just sounds like he is. But yeah. So
racism.
Yeah, a little bit. No, it's not. That's not racism. No, as I say, that's all that was left. So I think it makes sense. He's getting, obviously he was always going to get a full pre-season, but the fact that he gets a full pre-season, he can, you know, if he wants to sort of come in and have a look at the place sort of beforehand and stuff and just get his burdens and things like that, it gives him time to come and settle into the city beforehand a little bit as well. Little things like that. I think it all just, as I say, logically, I think it all just makes sense.
Yeah, I think he's getting an opportunity Klopp never got, because Klopp came in during the season, didn't he? So he's going to be able to come in and see Anfield in all its glory, empty. Obviously, it's going to be empty for a while now. Work with his players. He's going to have time to implement the few changes that he's going to make. Put a list together for the transfer guys to go out and get who he wants. There's already shit going around that he's already asked for certain players, and I think that's what I mean. I think when we've discussed head coach role and that, I think it's a case of he's got a say, but I don't think he dictates. He's not the power plant at the fucking club. Basically, he's not the be all and end all like Klopp was, and I think that's good at this moment. If he does as well as Klopp did, and he earns the right to say, listen, I am the main man, give us the reins of the whole club, then they might. But until then, he's happy working with what he's got and working in the structure that we've offered him. So that's how we've worked before. I think our most successful period under Klopp was when that was the way. So we've just got to hope he can do what Klopp done and put his identity on the team, make the players want to run through a brick wall for him. He seems that type of guy. I think it's hard to get excited about him and what he's done in the past and all that, because we've just lost Klopp. But if you're a neutral point of view, he's the right fit for the club. Seems the right man. He was so keen to take the job. Never hit that one bit. I don't think he was interested in money or anything. He just wanted the job. Wanted to manage Liverpool for all the right reasons. And yeah, we've just got to see how we go. I think we can't put too much pressure on him, but it's like we've almost had our transition under Klopp this season.
Yeah.
Players he's brought in to be ready. He said it himself. We didn't expect them to be where they are now, but they've overachieved expectation, and I think Slot walks into a really good setup.
Yeah, he does, and I think I spoke about it with Michael the other week about coming in and being a head coach and working under sort of the director of football and technical directors and whatever other fucking role they want to decide that's above him kind of thing. He's used to all this. That's how a lot of the teams work in the Netherlands, so it's not new to him. I said at the time, I think that'll massively actually help his transition. He's not going to be coming in and do something completely different to what he's used to already doing. He's not going to, nobody's expecting him to come in and be like, right, so we want you to take charge of the team. We want you to be actively involved in the transfers. We want you to be involved in the players sort of from day-to-day lives, and we want you to do this, that, and the other. It's like, right, we want you to just focus on the football. We're gonna have a team looking to bring players in to help you that we think are the right fit for what we're looking for at the minute. Obviously, he'll have a bit of a say in that. He can't just. I can't imagine they'll just drop a player onto the actual training pitch for him and go, right, so this is Brian or whatever his name is, and say,
Brian,
have fun with him, you know what I mean? Have to see what you can get out of him. It's not going to be like that. He's obviously going to have some sort of say, but he's not going to be involved in the process of getting him in and negotiating with the other clubs and all that. He can just focus on the football, which, for the first season with a new manager after 9 years it's probably what we need. We need someone who is just going to come on and focus on getting results on the pitch and not much else.
Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of the conversations you have in the background, negotiations and stuff with footballers, all depends on the conversation they actually have with the manager. So he'll have to be an influence on them and tell them how important they're going to be to his team. So it's got to be players he wants. As you say, he's not going to just be handed a player and saying he needs to be playing left wing this season because we've spent 100 mil on him. Not going to be the case. They're going to be bringing in young players, fresh players, hungry players, to come in with lads that are already here that Klopp's brought in. So I can't see there being many signings. I don't think we need many signings. I think we just need a few tweaks here and there. But yeah, I hope it's a case of he makes the list and then they assess the data and they analyse it and then they say we've got it down to these two, which one do you want? So I hope there's conversations, but I'm sure there will be. So there's already people moaning that because he is shrewd and he is happy to work on a budget and he's happy to work with younger players, that's why he's being appointed. So Fenway Sports can exploit him and all that shit. It's not the way. It's just the way the club runs. We've got to run to a business plan, and that's our business plan to stay in the green and not go into debt, and that's how we do it. And thankfully, over the years, we've managed to build a new training facility, build 2 new stands, whilst for like in the past 9 years, whilst keeping the ticket prices down to what we can, and we've won a lot. So I can't say much about the owners in terms of they have made mistakes in the past and they've reversed most of them. So just gotta stick with the plan and back the new manager because he is a little bit of us. I think that I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say as Liverpool manager because he's had a lot to say as Feyenoord manager about becoming a Liverpool manager, maybe when he shouldn't. But that, I think there's just 2 types of people, isn't there? There's people who are a bit negative and there's people who get excited by the joy someone else has got. And he couldn't hide a smile when he was announcing that he was, when he was pre-announcing that he's the Liverpool manager, when he was saying he wasn't, whilst also confirming that he was. I just thought it was great. So, yeah, it's not exciting because we just lost Klopp, but I think it's a step in a direction where there was a point when Klopp announced he was leaving. I wanted the world to end. I wanted negative football. I wanted dark, miserable fucking games of football, hanging on to 1-0 leads and sitting back. And then I seen the light and went, if we can transition from what we've got into a bit of a freshen up, maybe a tweak in a tactic and like maybe a 4-2-3-1 and having a central striker. Let's just see how we can go, and that's what I think he'll bring. I think he'll bring his own identity, but he won't try and stamp an authority. He'll try and with how it's been in the past with a few tweaks, and that suits us down to a T.
Yeah, no, it does, and I think one thing I've seen about him since he's been announced, which I liked about him, is he seems to be very sort of detail orientated. He's like, I seen sort of in one of his old clubs, he'd start the match by just hoofing the ball into the sky as high as he could, basically, and that's how they'd start the games. And basically, what they were doing was getting the other team to look up into the sun and basically get put off. And by doing that, his team scored like 7 times in games in the first 30 seconds. It's just little things like that. So yeah, it's going to be, obviously it's going to be just different for us. I'm not going to say it's not going to be difficult or anything like that. I don't think anyway, but it's certainly going to be different. It's just a whole new thing for us to get used to. We've had that sort of spell before Klopp where Rodgers was the longest manager that we had in a sort of 4 or 5 year period. And it we were kind of going nowhere a bit until Klopp come in, with the exception of that one Brendan Rodgers season. It was all kind of a bit just making up the numbers in a way, if I'm being honest. And I think Klopp's come in and absolutely, he's again, I mentioned it on the podcast earlier today, he gave us our club back. He's coming in and changed everything about it, and now the foundations are laid there for Arne Slot to come in and potentially we go on to make us the force we should have been under Klopp anyway. It's all there. It just needs implementing now. And as I say, everything I've seen from Slot so far since he was rumoured and going forward, and I've seen more and more of him and as the way his team plays and things like that. And there's nothing I'm not looking forward to. I'm excited. I think he's the right appointment, despite who was linked previously, and he's not obviously he wasn't the first name on probably anyone's list. But I think it's the right appointment based on what I've seen.
Again, we were saying, weren't we, like, such a body's linked, such a body's linked. Fucking stop linking people because we don't know what the club are going to do. And then out the blue, a fella that not a lot of us, don't get me wrong, I don't watch a lot of foreign footy, but I was aware of Arne Slot because he has become like a figurehead in Dutch football because he's broke up the 2-horse race. Yeah. That's what he done. He broke up the 2-horse race. It was just the same as Aberdeen winning a league title in Scotland. he broke up a 2-horse race. That it's only ever a 2-horse race, and has been for years. So, you know, he managed to do that. He done well with the team he managed before. Just not from, that's not my fucking knowledge. Like I've watched them. Obviously, I've looked into track records and that while he was manager, while he's being linked. I've spoke to people who understand Dutch football, watch it, and he's very well liked in the Dutch game. He's highly ranked. The Feyenoord fans, you know, when you look at the managers they've had, Hullet, Coleman, who else have they had? They've had a few. They rank him above everyone. They rank him as the best ever manager of Feyenoord, and he's only been there 3 years. So he's won them the league, won them the cup. He's reunited them. He's give them a belief that they can go on and conquer and win when they were at a stage where they couldn't. So you just got to do what Jurgen Klopp told us to do and believe. Because, as I said before on episode number 1 of 2, that Jurgen Klopp sort of made it like we're doubting him if we doubt Slot, because he believes, so we believe. So, you know, if Klopp went on mic and said there's fucking going to be a fella in a suit with reindeers flying over today, I'd go, I fucking believe it. And I'd be sat waiting for the sleigh like I sat waiting for his aeroplane to land. And he just had that power about him. So I believe in Jurgen Klopp, and I believe in Arne Slot because he told us to. So
yeah, and now I think
stop here.
now I think what Jurgen said as well yesterday was, you know, was the right thing in give him your all from day one, like he gave me, and that's it, and I think we obviously will do, and you know he's got the, like you just said, he's got the seal of approval from Jurgen Klopp. So for me, that's enough straight away. Like that should be enough for anyone really. But yeah, you know what? There's going to be people still who've got negative things to say about how it all happened and about him and about everything, because that's just their life. They just love being negative. They love to be miserable. But you know that's not normal fans.
If there was someone who had some constructive negativity about him and said, like, oh, you know, when he plays, he does this, he does that, but I haven't heard none of it from anyone who knows football. You know, no journalist in Holland has come out and said, you know, if he'd be at that level if he does this. There's nothing. They all enjoy his football.
I think the thing is, it's like with Endo in the summer, people were writing him off because he weren't Moises Caicedo, and I think people are writing Slot off because he's not Xabi Alonso or Ruben Amorim, because they were the big names, they were the ones everyone wanted, and Arne Slot is Arne Slot, and that's not good enough for some people for some reason.
And that's what we said. The club had to make a shrewd decision on basis like we do with the players. You know, I don't think we've signed an absolute gobshite since Balotelli. And I think, if I'm right, it was Klopp who got rid of him.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we had to go and make the right decision in terms of the man himself. And we've conducted a number of interviews, apparently. And, you know, Alonso didn't want the job. I didn't want Alonso. People were raving about him. He's been a manager 18 months. He's done phenomenal. But the pressure of him coming in with the tie to Liverpool, it was too much. It had to be a fresh start. And I think if it got too much for him, I don't think any player wants to go to a team that they love so early in the career, because if it ends bad there, you're done, aren't you? Your dreams ended early. So, you know, he could be looking at that going, well, maybe when I'm 40, 45, 50, I take that, but not right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Arne Slot, he's a man that we weren't very much aware of, but when you look into the big picture and attitudes of, we've interviewed Amaron, he wanted more money and sent his agents in demanding 10 mils and stuff, so the rumour has it, and then he's flirted with West Ham to try and wind us up, and we just thought, fuck yeah. And it might be one of the best things we've done, because we've gone and got a man who's working class fella, working class family, football mad, and he's well known throughout what he's done for the legacy he's had at his ex-club. So we might have brought the right man in. You know, we've got to give him time. We can't compare him to Klopp whatsoever. You know, we will, obviously, but when the footy kicks off and we start watching the football. It's got to be given time. We've got to see it. But I think Klopp's almost made it. Like we said, we looked dead on our feet. We looked ready for a freshen up. We looked ready for a new system, a tweak in training, a tweak on the pitch. And that's all it's going to need is a tweak, maybe to get the energy levels back up and get the players investing in something new. And I think, as horrible as it is, Klopp leaving, I think even as a player, you know, you've got a new manager who's coming in with new ideas, and they want to be the best versions of themselves. So they want to try new things, and they want to commit the bodies to being able to do new things. And I think they'll just run with it, hopefully.
Yeah. No, it is an exciting time. It's difficult as well, as I say. The timing of it is a bit strange. Just in the fact that no one was really expecting it. I think a few people alluded to the fact that they should. I mean, I even said it myself. They should have just announced it there and then themselves, like, because it had been leaked so much anyway. But now it's exciting because we get to see something different. But at the same time, it's obviously yesterday signalled the end of Jurgen Klopp saying, but now it's like even more confirmed kind of thing. And it's all just happening very fast. But that's what the club have got the man that they wanted. So we've just got to trust them. And why am I disappearing? Yeah, we've just got to trust the club, trust the men that they've brought in. It's not just, you know, people are just looking at it as Arne Slot. Obviously, he's bringing his backroom staff, but the people we brought in to work behind the scenes, Michael Edwards coming back, Julian Ward coming back, Richard Hughes coming in. You know, it's a whole new way of working for the club and for FSG, I think, as well, because, you know, Edwards is coming in to work for FSG, not for Liverpool. So it's huge. It's a massive, massive change. But yeah, like you said, I think it. Although none of us could see it at the time, certainly when Klopp announced the news, now it does feel sort of like it probably was the right time. And you see how, again, we mentioned it in episode 1 of 2 today. You're seeing it in Klopp's face how content he was with his decision, how happy he was with his decision. I think he even said I think he spoke to Sky. Yeah, he said to Sky that he was very happy with his decision that he's made. It just all feels right because of all of that. I think, like you said, if he maybe had come out and was crying yesterday and was in bits, then maybe, and people would read too much into it and go, well, he's regretting his decision there. And then you'd be like, fuck, have we all just made a big mistake here, kind of thing. As I say, the fact that he's just so happy with it all, it just feels right now.
Yeah, lad, he was just like the dad of the whole club yesterday. Like, he just made sure we were all right. And
yeah,
you know, I don't think for 1 second he hasn't gone back somewhere and sobbed his heart out, because we all did. I come home and sobbed in the ground, outside the ground, and seeing random people we've never met before, seeing mates. But you know, it's about the people you've spent the journey with. But it is right, you know, the football, the energy levels of the players, the energy levels of the manager. Even yesterday, like, he just sat there for, say, 80 minutes of that game. I think he only got out of his seat to, like, hug the substitutes and stuff. He just sat there, relaxed, content. The team was in a safe position. We were in the Champions League. He'd set out to do what we needed to do this season. And he was just ready. I think he was just sat there thinking, in 12 hours' time, I'm going to be on a plane to Spain and be in the sun with a lager. And, you know, he deserves it. He was ready. And so a time might come in the future when, if we need someone to steady the ship because things aren't going so well, I think he'd be the first person who gets asked, and I think he'd be the first person to jump at it if he was available. But
yeah,
you know, from a point of view of a fan, you don't want to see that happen because you want to see us succeed. And I do think we've got a personality in Slot, and someone who's going to connect with the fans, and give us all. I think he's going to be with his players the way Klopp was, where he was, again, like a dad, was there for them with family issues and off the pitch, and just a genuine fella. He just seems dead genuine. So, you know, we can't compare them. You're not going to replace Jurgen Klopp as a man, but if you can bring someone in who has the same characteristics a little bit, you know, then it makes it a little bit easier to move forward. And
yeah,
I think that's what we've done. We've gone and got a fella who seems a genuinely nice fella, genuinely loves his football, bonds with his players, bonds with his fans, becomes a fan. You know, you see him at the end of the season with Feyenoord, and he's leading the chants and that, and you know, he can do that here with us.
Yeah.
We'll have him. We'll welcome him with open arms, and anyone who's like, it's not Klopp, I'm not interested. Like I was a fucking gobshite, couldn't care fucking less when it all happened, but now he's here, and he is the new Liverpool manager. We'll back him to the hilt, and we've got to just give him time. If in 6 months' time we're playing defensive negative football and we can't get out of our box because we're getting penetrated and bullied and conceding, then you talk about it. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think it'll be a new lease of life for some of the players. I think he might tweak situations with players like Trent and Nunes and get the best out of them, because he might change the system a little bit because it's an open mind. He's coming in with no knowledge of he's coming in with knowledge, but he's doing his own thing. He can change what he wants now. Klopp was sort of fixated on, that's my system, that's what we've won with, that's what we're staying with. When I think in essence it didn't really suit some of the players. So I think you might see players like Nunes be leading the line now and have 3 players behind them.
Yeah.
Anything like that where we can embrace it, and then you go, right, Nunes is having a fucking stinker, let's go 4-3-3, let's take him off and let's get Gakpo through the middle, coming into the midfield, wide players in behind. And I think that's it. I think we've got an option to run with it, and I think that the team's there to do it. And I think, you know, Slot's a likeable fella, and that's the main thing for me. You know, it doesn't really matter what he's won and what he's done in football. If he comes in and he's the type of person that you can just connect with, then that's fine, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. So look, this was only intended to be a sort of short one with the news breaking. I think when we get a chance to hear from Slot as manager, we'll have a bit more to say and we can discuss it a bit more. But as I say, this was just intended to be a sort of shorter one, with the news just breaking, as I say, about literally half an hour after we stopped recording earlier. So thanks for that, Liverpool, appreciate it. So yeah, but that is the breaking news. Arne Slot has been confirmed as Liverpool head coach. Still seems weird saying that, on a 3-year deal, and he'll be starting June 1st. That's what he is. He's not. He's the head coach. But yeah, he starts work on June 1st, which I made out earlier that it was fucking ages away, and it's not. It's the fucking 20th of May.
At that going past on the screen, then. So what is he on holiday, and then he's coming in to do all the big shebang?
I think that's just sort of like the unofficial start of pre-season. You know what I mean? Obviously, the players won't be there and that, but I think unofficially that will be as official sort of.
What I'd like to see them do, just for curiosity to see how it turns out, open the stadium for him when he comes in and see how many turn up to say hello to him, because I think
I think a lot of I think
you'd fill it, because
you see that in Europe, don't you, a lot?
Yeah, I think it'd be nice for them to come in, obviously, but then again, you're sort of taking away the feeling of he can't wait to walk out for his first game at Anfield, you know what I mean? And that So I think, shut up, Jay. Talking shit. Do you know what? I'm looking forward to the press conferences. As I said, I'm glad that it's a little while away, because, you know, they've confirmed him, but there's no, he's here, we're recording him, he's in the dressing room, all that shit. I'm glad that hasn't happened. I'm looking forward to taking it all in about Klopp going. While he's sat on a beach somewhere with a cocktail, I'll be crying into my fucking iPad. But it is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, Arne Slot's the new manager. Klopp told us to believe in him, so all we can do is believe in him. We can, and we will. Until next time, up Arne Slot's Reds. Arne Slot, na 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 na.